Welcome, folks. Fred Gleek here again with Bill DeWeese to get an idea about how his week went. And since it's Monday, we've passed the week, so he'll have to go back and look at his notes.
Which I keep copious notes, so I know everything that happened, Fred. It was a good week.
Let's start at the very beginning, as they say in, what's that, a very good place to start?
Is a very good place to start, right.
Yeah.
You want the total for the week?
Yeah.
$4,858.
Man, you should have stayed around an extra 35 minutes to make...
And literally, that's no joke. That's exactly what I could have done. But we had to get to Ohio. We were visiting to help out my mother-in-law with some stuff, and so we had to. There was plenty of work to take me over that. So we just told clients, "Hey, I'll get to this Monday," and I just took off. I just couldn't hang around any longer.
Got it. Let that be your biggest problem.
Yeah, for sure. So it was, it was a busy week. And in addition to that, I should mention, I think I mentioned this last week or the week before, that I always have a weekly goal of getting, I like to get at least 2 new clients a week, if at all possible. So I picked up 2 new clients again this week.
Good. Okay, so then let's, again, start at the beginning. Let's talk about Monday.
Monday, let's see here. I had projects for Hitachi. I do ongoing work for them, so that was nothing new. This is interesting. I was actually over last weekend, I was contacted by a talent agency in New York who placed me on a hold, meaning a client had identified me as a prospective person. And so they said, we need to hold you for Tuesday. They gave me a time, and the job was to pay a little over $6,000. So I said, yay, And then Monday I got an email saying, you've been released. So somebody else was chosen for the job.
Right. Well, at least you're in the mix.
So close, but yet so far. But it's day in the life,
You have no idea what it was for or who the client was.
Not a clue.
Got it.
Not a clue.
Whoever the other voiceover artist that did it, may they stumble and fall.
No, don't say that. But had I gotten that job, well, you can see what the math would add up to. It would have been a $10,000 week, or $11,000 would have been good.
Depending on how much time do you think you would have had to spend doing that $6,000?
Oh, less than an hour, I'm sure.
Oh, it's one of those, huh?
Yeah, it's probably a half hour. Most of my recording sessions are in the 20 to 30 minute range, usually.
Well, we should try and get one of those a week then.
Wow, no doubt. Yeah, that would be the goal. That would make my life very easy.
Well, but I mean, how often are those coming in? Even hold stuff? Is this something new?
No, I mean, it happens occasionally. If it happens a few times a year.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. But yeah, if that happened every week, I could write my own book called The 30-Minute Work Week.
Yes. Yeah.
And there we. Okay. So, let's see. In addition to Hitachi, I did some a local commercial for Just Beds, some IT narration. Speaking of IT,
Just Beds. Just out of curiosity, what do they sell?
Yeah, I don't know. I think couches.
Right.
IT narration, and then I did some more IT narration for Ericsson, who's an ongoing client. I did some healthware, some software for healthcare, like hospitals, training on how to use that, and then CAD software training. Yeah. So really...
Of course, you had no idea what you were talking about. You were just reading the words.
Not a clue.
Yeah, that's Sabrina's kind of area. That's my wife's area. She'd know that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it would mean something to her. I enjoy doing it. I just don't know what I'm saying. That's all.
Right.
Tuesday, I recorded for Intel. Picked up a new client through Voice123. It was for an online video that needed a narration, like a long form type commercial. Did a little tutorial on writing and research skills for a client in India. Which, by the way, I got that client. It was last year. But what's really cool is sometimes people just find my website, and my website is not overly optimized for search engine purposes. But occasionally somebody will stumble across it, and some such person did from this company in India, and end up being a long-term, at least so far, a 1-year relationship, and I get consistent work from them. And then I did some work for PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers. They do an annual event called The Exchange, and I recorded like the promotional announcement for that. So that was Tuesday. Yeah. Wednesday, did some driver training for the state of Nevada. So chances are you'll be hearing from me before it's all said and done. Security narration for a company called MagTech. Training to help kids with learning comprehension, more CAD software training, and then I did a commercial for a place called Lake George.
Sure, I know Lake George.
Are you? Okay. I'm trying to remember what it was. Is it like a vacation spot?
Yeah, if it's upstate New York.
I have no idea. I just know it's Lake George. It could very well be. So
Yep.
that was Wednesday. Thursday, I picked up a new client through voices.com. There's a drag racer by the name of Steve Johnson who does these in-school presentations to motivate kids to finish school. And I recorded the what they call sizzle reel. It's his promotional video that he sends out to schools. So I voiced that for him. I did ABB Supplier Sustainability Implementation Guide narration. Yay. Grocery store training, on hold for AAA and National Car Rental, and more promos for New Mexico PBS. So I did those, and then I think we're on a delay. Are we on a delay? I'll jump ahead and go on to Friday. Friday, I did some insurance claims training. I did a commercial tag for a Mercedes-Benz dealership in San Francisco. Recorded for Hitachi. A company called Spider Print did their narration. A local credit union commercial. I don't know where it's at locally, but it was a local commercial. And then rules and regulations for a trade workers union. And so that wrapped up my week.
Yeah, well, anything you learned that we could share with our audience?
Yes. Here's my profound thought of the week. A lot of people get really caught up in audition feedback from pay-to-play sites, like on Voice 123. Clients can rate; they don't have to, but they can rate you on I think 1 to 4 stars. And with Voices.com, they can rate you with a thumbs up. And a lot of people get really hung up on that. Well, I've only gotten 3 thumbs up in the past month or whatever the case may be. Of my past 5 jobs awarded on Voices.com, in other words, I've been hired for on Voices.com, only one of those 5 jobs did the client actually give me a thumbs up on the audition.
Meaning you got the work, but you suck, basically.
Yeah, I was awful, and they still hired me. No, what it means is that, just because you don't get a thumbs up doesn't mean they don't like you or that you won't get the job. Most people don't take the time to mess with that stuff.
Absolutely. There's no incentive for them to do it, so therefore they just forget about it. They move on.
Yeah, but I see people just emotionally racked with pain over, oh my goodness, I've done 20 auditions and I've only got, I haven't received a single thumbs up. I'm awful.
If I were consulting to the pay-to-play sites, I would give them some way to give an incentive for the people who are the clients hiring talent to give feedback.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that would be helpful. That would be helpful because as it is, you just don't know what's going on or, whether they liked you or not, or even if they did, who was listening. There are a lot of unknowns, a lot of unknown variables involved there.
Yeah, and for new talent, I imagine this is more important than people like you, right?
I know. I've done it enough now that I know that it's not to not pay much attention. I mean, I look at it. I know. I know. I get about 3 on average, 3.5 thumbs up per 10 auditions that I do. For what that's worth, it's a gauge for me. It just allows me to get a sense, but it doesn't necessarily, you can't equate that necessarily into jobs. It just gives you an indicator of the people who have responded, the number that like you. So don't get too emotionally invested in that stuff.
Speaking of the number who like us, I haven't yet figured out how many people are listening to the podcast. Have you?
No. No, I don't know. That's a good question.
And I hope all of you listening, make sure and tell all your friends because we want to build up the numbers like we do the YouTube channel. And so if there's nothing more to discuss, I think we should end it here. And again, thank everybody for listening or watching. And Bill, have a great week this week.
You too, Fred. Thank you so much.
Yeah, take care.